There came a point in my life when I knew I had to change it. So I took a chance and sold and gave away everything that I owned to experience a new life living out on the canals and rivers of the UK. So I'd like you to come along and experience it with me every step of the way. Morning YouTubers, I hope you're all well. Me and Ashby are just leaving this mooring that's just before the village of Cropredy, and we've had to leave the boat a few times and get back to my family. We've had quite a few things to sort out and do. I've been a bit worried about leaving the boat by itself, but so far, touch wood, we've been okay. In today's episode, we're on our way to the town of Banbury, and it looks like we're in for some gorgeous weather. Unlike the last marina that we went past, this one looks like it's packed with boats. So I reckon it must be a good one. What do you think, Ash? He says, nah, there's not enough ducks. There's a lovely bit of countryside round here. Even though my mind's been elsewhere sometimes, I can still appreciate it. There's a few more boats moored up as we're moving on to the outskirts of the village. There's a lot of work that's gone into these gardens. They're beautiful. I think it must be these people's pride and joy having their gardens coming onto the canal. This kind fellow has left the lock gates open for me so I can go straight in.
Morning. Pardon? Oh, it's unusual.
Cropredy is one of the prettiest canal side villages that I've seen in a while. Just look around at this. So far, everywhere I've looked is like picture postcard stuff. Wonderful. If you're new to the channel, you're watching one of my videos for the first time, on the last video that I put out I had a walk around Cropredy, so if you want to see the village, have a look at that one. There's a lot of history and some quaint, pretty little places as well to look at. I enjoyed that little walk. That's my little bit of exercise for the day done. And before I leave the village, just the other side of this bridge, there's a services point which I'm going to visit. And if I would have got here a minute earlier, I would have beat the CRT that's just turned up at the water point, filling up their water bowsers. And it's one of those taps that's very slow, not a lot of pressure. So I was hanging about here for about an hour, waiting for them to fill up. But like I always say, I'm in no rush, and while I'm here I'll show you something that happened about 100 yards away from where I'm standing now. In the year 1644, the Battle of Cropredy Bridge took place, which was part of the English Civil War at the time, between the Royalists and the Parliamentarians. King Charles I's Royalists actually won this battle, but they lost the war, and King Charles lost his head with it. Savage old times them days. And the result of the Parliamentarians winning was we was ruled by Oliver Cromwell, and we actually became a republic for the first time, and the last. I do find it fascinating that I can actually go to these places that I've read about before, actually step in the same footsteps really. Right, back to the narrowboating. While I've been waiting here, another boat has pulled up beside me to use the services, and he's been waiting a while as well. There's an interesting place coming up on the right. It's called the Old Coal Wharf. On certain days there's craft stalls in there and bric-a-brac stalls. You can get something to eat in there, and also alcoholic drinks. It's amazing how many times this happens. We're going through a bit of canal here, and where it narrows, where the vegetation is hanging over, another boat is coming the other way, right at that spot. It seems to happen all the time while I'm out here. I suppose really you go through these narrow bits and you don't notice it. You only probably notice it when there's another boat there. But it does seem that way. Looks like a nice family enjoying their holiday on a narrowboat.
Alright. How you going? Alright.
Off we go again, nice and slow. When we get to Banbury, I'm still going to have to leave the boat, get back to my family for funerals and such like. But I'll enjoy this countryside while I can. Where Banbury is quite a big town, I'm a bit worried about leaving Aitch there, but when I get there I'll scope out the situation. The good thing about Banbury is there's train stations there, and I won't be out in the middle of nowhere when I'm trying to sort things out. You can't see it, but there's some canoes right in front of me that I've got to miss, because this would do some damage if it hit one of them. One of the canoes looks like he's playing chicken with me. I know it'd come out worse though. That's the M40 motorway again. This canal crosses that motorway a few times. Shows you how bendy it is really. The sign says Banbury, so we must be on the outskirts of the town. I'm going to try and moor up before I get to the town centre. Probably be a bit safer to leave Aitch there when I have to go. I'm moored up next to Spiceball Park, and there's some foresty areas in the park, and I'm looking for some fallen wood to keep me warm over the winter. With the price of coal lately, I think I'm going to have to take a different tack on how I'm going to keep Aitch warm, or me and Ashby warm in Aitch. As you can see, there's plenty of fallen wood around, and it's probably seasoned itself while it's been laying here.
You have to get in the picture, don't you, boy? You're so funny.
A bit too old to be chopping and sawing wood all day long, so I invested in this battery powered chainsaw. Being the old miser that I am, I've worked out that it will pay for itself in a month. But it's still another way of keeping me active, and I quite enjoy doing it. I need to find myself a chopping block that will make it a lot easier, but I can still get away with it on the towpath. And I might have to invest in a proper log splitting axe to save my back a little bit, as somebody advised me, but I'll get away with it like this for now. Here's some of the fruits of my labour, and I've got enough inside the boat, and I've also stored some wood outside the boat to last me a couple of weeks, and I'll just have to keep topping it up as I go along. My time's up on this mooring, so I'm going to have to move, but that'll be for the next episode. There's some people I'd like to thank for giving me a little tip and buying me a coffee. The link to the Buy Me a Coffee app is in the video description. And for the price of one coffee a month, you can also become a member on the Buy Me a Coffee app, where I try to get out 2 extra videos behind the scenes a month. And if you got this far, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.